Let's cut straight to the point here. My Wu Shang analysis back in 2021 was my worst Legend analysis by far, for multiple reasons. Number 1, the quality is bad. Number 2, I forgot an entire section of his SIGs in the video. Number 3, I was so mentally out of it when making that video and busy with school at the time, which just adds on to reason 1 and 2. I would have taken that video down by now if I didn't care about consistency. Forget about the boring, terrible past of my Wu Shang analysis. Let's get on with taking another look at one of the strongest legends throughout Brawlhalla's history. While I don't particularly like Wu Shang very much, I have to admit he is one of the legends most overdue for a Legend Analysis Redone. He has a lot of pros about him and very little cons, if there even are any. Let's go over them and discover them right now, where we of course start off with the SIGs. Wu Shang's SIGs, even after countless nerfs, never seem to disappoint. He has arguably some of the best signatures in the game. Spear and SIG is a wildly good SIG for how nicely it leads into Spear's combos, and how quickly you can recover from it too. Back then I called this SIG bad, which is a crime by itself. It's not his best Spear SIG of course, but it's definitely not his worst. Even for being the second best and worst Spear SIG, it's still really good. Spear side SIG is what I would call his best Spear SIG, as I so thought in the first analysis as well. Although I don't think I truly understood its power, because this SIG is wildly strong. It's a bit small, but that doesn't really matter. It's quick, hard to punish. On some crossover skins, it's so hard to see, which leads into another segment, but we'll get there later. It has no downsides, really. Definitely his best Spear SIG by far. Spear down SIG is one that I feel like isn't all that great. That, or I'm just really bad at it. The only one in Shang's kit that I could really say that about too. It does hit in a nice area, but it's a strange area that you won't really catch people at in the first place. At least from my experience. Maybe it has potential, I just really never seem to get it right. Although I can safely say it's his worst SIG in his kit. The Gauntlet SIGs I would say are slightly better, because all of them are pretty useful in different types of scenarios. Gauntlet and SIG, great for catching jumpers or up dodges. I noticed myself hitting this one a lot since people don't really ever dodge into me when I play Shang. Out of the 3 Gauntlet SIGs, this one is the worst, but it's by no means bad. Gauntlet side SIG is absolutely the best Gauntlet SIG and arguably one of the strongest SIGs in Shang's kit. It's a 2-parter, so you're a bit more likely to hit it, and it sends at a wild angle, killing pretty early as well. I remember they nerfed this one, but I still feel like it wasn't enough at all. There's times where I get hit by this move and I feel like I shouldn't be dying in orange, but that might just be me. You could say it's more punishable, but not by a large margin. Gauntlet down SIG I sort of thought wasn't all that great beforehand, but Gauntlets doesn't really have a move that catches enemies right on you a whole lot. Maybe, I don't know, Neutralite, Dare you have to be airborne for, and that's it off the top of my head. It's mighty useful for those inward dodges, like, a lot. I find myself hitting this one the most, but I wouldn't say it's the strongest. I also called this one the worst one back then, and just never really elaborated on it. Overall, even though his Gauntlet signature kit is better than his Spear, I would say you should play Spear. The Gauntlet nerfs were heavy enough to call for Spear being stronger than Gauntlets now. I know, crazy that I'm a Spear main calling Spear OP, but it's true. Going on to Shang's skins, he has so many. We're gonna have to go speed mode with this one. Get ready to roast my opinions in the comments. God tier has Gentleman, Wu Shang Kong, and Chun-Li. With Gentleman, I'm a sucker for classy skins. Wu Shang Kong, I was hypnotized into liking. It actually is pretty fantastic looking too. Then Chun-Li is, yeah. Pretty good tier has Perfect Wu Shang and Aang. Perfect Wu Shang I've never seen anyone use, but I think the light blue glow with the more defined beard too makes it so classy. It gives me a little bit of Zenyatta vibes. Aang I only put in pretty good tier because I like Avatar The Last Airbender, but this skin is one of the very few definitions of pay to win. Some signatures just don't match up at all, or it's way harder to see. I like it, but any Shang main tourneys will only run Aang, and it's kinda sad to see. Mid tier has Jin, Santa, and Rano Shang. Jin has a pretty nice design, but doesn't warrant pretty good. Santa is nice looking too, but Thatch does the better job. As for Rano, I know I'll be hated for not putting this in God tier, but hey. I don't really have a good reason to not like it that much actually. It's nice, but a little overrated in my eyes. Med tier has Default, Seeker, Shang the Breaker, and Poe. Default just looks sort of bland, Seeker is a bit brighter and nicer looking, but still meh. Wu Shang the Breaker has a similar vibe to Perfect Wu Shang, but looks older and less refined. As for Poe, I just don't have a great connection to Kung Fu Panda, and the new SIG animations are really plain looking. Color swaps are mad too. Then God tier has only one skin, Infinite Wu Shang. This one has a nice concept, but it just really didn't work out too well. Mecha skins in general aren't my favorite, and while this one is better than the other ones, it's still not that great. Overall, I don't like a lot of Shang skins, but they aren't all terrible. Tier list wise, out of SA, B, C, and D, I would place Shang in S tier by far. If I didn't think Spear was super strong now, I'd probably place Shang in low S or even high A tier. considering the gauntlet nerfs, but everybody is still playing gauntlets, and spear is a spear. So up in S tier Shang goes. He has a pretty good weapon pairing, some of the best signatures in the game, and you see him played quite a lot in tourneys, mostly in 2s, but some 1s used as well. I mean, going over everything, he just doesn't have any downsides. I think his stats prove towards this as well. 5 attack, 7 dex, 5 defense, and 5 speed. Typically high dexterity is proven to be useless, but at least 6 dex on spear gives you Sayer Neutralite, which is a much needed combo for spear in my humble opinion. So you can run attack stance for 6 dex while going up on the strength, you can run speed for a little less strength, defense to go down to 4 speed, or dexterity to go down on defense. Out of these 4, only attack and speed are really worth it. My main point with this is that with the right stat spread, there's only upsides to Shang. Of course, if you run the wrong stance, then it's a downside, but you could just not choose those stances. Simple as that. As for his pick rate, he definitely seemed to pick quite a lot in every rank. Of course, there isn't a reliable Brawlhalla stats site anymore, as Brawlman stopped getting updated for some reason, so we're kind of just going off the legend itself when talking about their play rate. But I'm not wrong. Silver, gold, plat, diamond, Valhallan, you name it. With everything Shang has to offer, I can see why everyone would want to play him. So, I mean, hey, go ahead and play Shang if you'd like. Personally, I would go against it. I think we already have enough Shang players hopping around the queues. But out of every person to tell you who to play and who not to play, why would I be the one person to listen to? Maybe someone does. I don't know. You never know. Shang is strong. You really wouldn't go wrong choosing him. Of course, if you enjoyed this analysis, feel free to subscribe. It's free, and you can always unsubscribe whenever you want. And crazy how it works like that, right? And until next time, always remember to keep on brawling.